The story begins in the peaceful yet ever-vigilant world of Dragon Ball, where Earth's defenders, the Z-Fighters, have long stood as guardians against cosmic threats. Among them, Krillin, the bald-headed martial artist and longtime friend of Goku, has always been a reliable and courageous fighter. However, despite his years of training and countless battles alongside the Saiyans, Krillin has often felt overshadowed by their immense power. As a human, he has reached the peak of his potential, but the gap between him and his Saiyan comrades like Goku and Vegeta has only grown wider with time. This gnawing feeling of inadequacy becomes the catalyst for Krillin's drastic decision to abandon his Earthling identity and become a Saiyan himself. The narrative unfolds in the aftermath of a fierce battle against a new, mysterious enemy who nearly overwhelmed the Z-Fighters. Krillin, battered and bruised, reflects on the fight. Despite his best efforts, his attacks barely scratch the enemy, while Goku and Vegeta's Super Saiyan transformations turn the tide. The disparity in power is undeniable, and Krillin's frustration reaches a boiling point. He confides in Bulma, who has been working on a new dragon radar to locate the Dragon Balls. Krillin's plan is simple yet audacious. He will gather the Dragon Balls and wish to become a Saiyan, believing that only by transcending his human limitations can he truly protect Earth and stand alongside his friends as an equal. As Krillin sets out on his quest, the story delves into his internal struggle. He questions whether he is betraying his humanity or simply evolving to meet the challenges of an increasingly dangerous universe. Meanwhile, Goku and Vegeta sense a shift in Krillin's demeanor but are preoccupied with their own training. Goku, ever the optimist, believes Krillin will find his own path, while Vegeta dismisses the notion of humans ever reaching Saiyan levels of power. This contrast in their attitudes foreshadows the tension that will arise when Krillin's wish is revealed. The first major fight scene occurs when Krillin, while searching for the Dragon Balls, encounters a group of rogue warriors who have been terrorizing a nearby village. These warriors, though not on the level of the Z-Fighters, are formidable opponents, and Krillin sees this as an opportunity to test his resolve. The battle is intense, with Krillin relying on his signature techniques, such as the Destructo Disc and Solar Flare, to gain the upper hand. The vivid descriptions of the fight highlight Krillin's precision and tactical mind. He dodges a barrage of energy blasts with swift movements, counters with a well-timed Kamehameha, and finishes one opponent with a perfectly executed scatter bullet technique. Despite his victory, Krillin is left exhausted, further reinforcing his belief that he needs to become stronger. As Krillin continues his journey, he finally gathers all 7 Dragon Balls and summons Shenrong. The sky darkens, and the majestic dragon emerges, its voice echoing with power. Krillin hesitates for a moment, his heart heavy with the weight of his decision, but he steels himself and makes his wish. Shenrong, I wish to become a Saiyan. The dragon's eyes glow, and a surge of energy envelops Krillin. The transformation is both painful and exhilarating, as his body undergoes a radical change. His muscles grow more defined, his aura shifts, and a newfound power courses through his veins. When the light fades, Krillin stands as a Saiyan, his eyes blazing with determination. Word of Krillin's transformation quickly reaches Goku and Vegeta, who are training in the hyperbolic time chamber. Goku is stunned, his usual cheerful demeanor replaced by a mix of awe and concern. Krillin? A Saiyan? But why? He mutters, unable to comprehend his friend's decision. Vegeta, on the other hand, is intrigued and slightly amused. Humph. So the weakling finally realized his place, he sneers, though there's a glimmer of respect in his eyes. The stage is set for a confrontation, as the Z-Fighters grapple with the implications of Krillin's choice. The story concludes Part 1 with a glimpse of Krillin's newfound power. He returns to the village he had previously defended, only to find it under attack by a much stronger foe. This time, however, Krillin faces the enemy with confidence. The battle is a spectacle of speed and power, with Krillin effortlessly dodging attacks and countering with devastating blows. His Saiyan instincts kick in, and he taps into his newfound energy, unleashing a powerful energy wave that obliterates the enemy. The villagers cheer, but Krillin remains solemn, knowing that his journey has only just begun. As he flies off into the distance, the camera pans to Goku and Vegeta, who have arrived too late to witness the fight. Goku stares at the aftermath, his expression a mix of pride and unease, while Vegeta smirks, clearly impressed. The seeds of conflict have been sown, and the story promises even greater challenges and transformations in the chapters to come. The battlefield was a chaotic storm of energy blasts, shattered terrain, and the deafening roars of combatants pushing their limits. Krillin, now a Saiyan after his wish to Shenrong, stood at the center of the maelstrom, his newfound power radiating like a supernova. His once human physiology had been transformed, and with it came an overwhelming surge of strength, speed, and an insatiable hunger to prove himself. Across from him stood Vegeta, the Saiyan prince, his eyes narrowed with a mix of curiosity and disdain. You think a mere wish can make you one of us? Vegeta sneered, his voice dripping with arrogance. Let's see if you can handle the weight of a Saiyan's pride. The clash began with a thunderous boom as Vegeta lunged forward, his fist crackling with energy. Krillin, still adjusting to his new body, barely managed to sidestep the attack, feeling the shockwave ripple through the air. He countered with a swift roundhouse kick, but Vegeta caught his leg effortlessly, hurling him into a nearby mountain. The impact sent debris flying, but Krillin emerged unscathed, his Saiyan resilience already evident. Not bad, Vegeta muttered, a smirk tugging at his lips. But let's see how you handle this. He raised his hand, gathering a sphere of crackling energy, the Gallic gun. The blast surged forward, a torrent of destruction aimed squarely at Krillin. Krillin's instincts kicked in. Drawing on his years of training and his new Saiyan instincts, he channeled his energy into his palms, forming a Kamehameha wave. The two beams collided in a blinding explosion of light, the force of the clash shaking the earth beneath them. Krillin gritted his teeth, feeling the strain of the battle but refusing to back down. His muscles burned, his energy reserves depleting rapidly, but he pushed harder, his Kamehameha growing brighter and stronger. With a roar, he overpowered Vegeta's Gallic gun, sending the Saiyan prince skidding backward. Vegeta's smirk faded, replaced by a look of genuine surprise. Impressive, he admitted, his voice tinged with respect. But don't think this is over. He transformed into his Super Saiyan form, his golden aura blazing like the sun. The ground beneath him cracked as he launched himself at Krillin, their fists colliding in a series of rapid, earth-shattering blows. Each strike sent shockwaves rippling through the battlefield, the sheer force of their clash creating craters and toppling trees. Krillin struggled to keep up, his body aching from the relentless assault. But as the fight wore on, he began to adapt, his Saiyan instincts merging seamlessly with his years of combat experience. He ducked under a high kick from Vegeta, countering with a palm strike to the chest that sent the prince flying. Vegeta recovered quickly, but Krillin was already in the air, charging a Destructo disc. The razor-sharp energy disc whirred as he hurled it toward Vegeta, who barely managed to dodge, the attack grazing his arm and drawing blood. The sight of his own blood only fueled Vegeta's fury. You'll pay for that, he roared, his aura flaring brighter as he powered up further. He unleashed a barrage of energy blasts, each one aimed with deadly precision. Krillin dodged and weaved, his movements becoming more fluid and precise as he tapped into his Saiyan potential. He retaliated with a flurry of energy blasts of his own, the two warriors locked in a deadly dance of destruction. Meanwhile, Goku watched from the sidelines, his expression a mix of awe and concern. Krillin's really pushing himself, he muttered, his fists clenched. But Vegeta's not holding back either. This isn't going to end well unless someone steps in. He considered intervening, but something held him back, a belief in Krillin's strength and a desire to see just how far his old friend could go. The battle reached a fever pitch as Krillin and Vegeta unleashed their ultimate techniques. Vegeta's final flash crackled with raw power, a massive beam of energy that threatened to obliterate everything in its path. Krillin, knowing he couldn't match the attack head-on, devised a daring strategy. As Vegeta fired the final flash, Krillin used instant transmission, a technique he had learned from Goku, to teleport behind the prince. With a cry of determination, he delivered a devastating punch to Vegeta's back, disrupting the attack and sending the Saiyan prince crashing to the ground. Vegeta groaned, struggling to rise, but Krillin wasn't done. He powered up to his maximum, his aura flaring with a golden hue as he achieved Super Saiyan form for the first time. The transformation was overwhelming, the sheer power coursing through his veins almost too much to bear. But Krillin embraced it, his resolve unshakable. This is for everyone I've ever fought to protect, he declared, his voice steady despite the strain. Vegeta looked up, his eyes wide with disbelief. You've actually done it, he muttered, a rare note of respect in his voice. But he wasn't ready to concede. Summoning the last of his strength, he launched one final, desperate attack, a massive energy sphere aimed directly at Krillin. The attack was too fast to dodge, but Krillin met it head-on, channeling all his energy into a single, blinding Kamehameha wave. The two attacks collided in a cataclysmic explosion, the shockwave rippling across the planet. When the dust settled, both warriors stood battered and bruised, their energy nearly depleted. But neither was willing to fall. With a final, desperate cry, Krillin charged forward, delivering a punch that sent Vegeta flying. The Saiyan prince hit the ground hard, unable to rise. Krillin stood victorious, his body trembling from the strain. Goku rushed to his side, a proud smile on his face. You did it, Krillin, he said, clapping his friend on the back. You pushed past your limits and proved what you're made of. Krillin nodded, his breathing heavy but his spirit unbroken. I couldn't have done it without everyone who believed in me, he replied, his voice filled with gratitude. As the sun set on the battlefield, the two friends looked out at the horizon, knowing that this was just the beginning. Krillin's transformation had opened up a new chapter in his life, one filled with endless possibilities and challenges. And as the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, he knew he was ready to face whatever came next. The final battle between Krillin, now a Saiyan, and the ultimate adversary, a malevolent cosmic entity known as Zorath, reached its climax on the shattered remains of a once thriving planet. The skies above were a chaotic swirl of energy, lightning, and debris, as the two warriors clashed with earth-shattering force. Krillin's newfound Saiyan power surged through his veins, his golden aura blazing like a supernova, but even this immense strength was being tested to its limits. Zorath, a being of pure destruction, towered over the battlefield, his dark energy radiating an oppressive aura that threatened to crush the very fabric of reality. Goku, watching from a distance, could only stare in awe as Krillin pushed himself beyond anything he had ever imagined. The fight began with a flurry of blows, each strike sending shockwaves rippling through the atmosphere. Krillin's fists moved like lightning, his enhanced Saiyan reflexes allowing him to keep pace with Zorath's monstrous speed. Yet, for every punch Krillin landed, Zorath countered with a devastating blast of dark energy, forcing Krillin to dodge and weave with precision. The ground beneath them cracked and crumbled, the planet's core beginning to destabilize under the sheer force of their battle. Goku, his heart pounding, clenched his fists, torn between stepping in and trusting his friend to see this through. Krillin, Goku muttered under his breath, "You've come so far. Don't give up now." Krillin's body ached with every movement, his muscles screaming in protest as he pushed himself to the brink. The transformation into a Saiyan had granted him immense power, but it had also come with a cost. His human instincts and emotions were amplified, making every blow, every near miss, feel like a tidal wave of fear and determination. He could feel his energy reserves depleting, his golden aura flickering as Zorath unleashed a barrage of energy spheres that exploded around him. Krillin gritted his teeth, his mind racing. I can't lose, he thought, not after everything I've sacrificed. Not after giving up my humanity to protect everyone. With a roar, Krillin channeled every ounce of his remaining energy into a single, devastating attack. His hands glowed with a blinding light as he formed a massive energy sphere, combining his signature Destructo Disc with the raw power of a Saiyan. Zorath, sensing the threat, charged forward, his dark energy coalescing into a spear of pure destruction. The two attacks collided in a cataclysmic explosion, the shockwave tearing through the planet's surface and sending both combatants flying. Krillin crashed into a mountain, the impact nearly knocking him unconscious, but he forced himself to his feet, his body trembling with exhaustion. Zorath, though battered, remained standing, his malevolent grin widening as he prepared to deliver the final blow. It was in this moment of desperation that Krillin reached his ultimate breakthrough. Drawing on the memories of his friends, his family, and the countless battles he had fought alongside Goku, he tapped into a power he had never known existed. His aura erupted in a brilliant flash of light, his hair spiking and his eyes glowing with an otherworldly intensity. This is it, Krillin whispered, his voice filled with resolve. This is the power of a Saiyan who fights not for himself, but for everyone he loves. With a speed that defied comprehension, Krillin closed the distance between himself and Zorath, his fists moving faster than the eye could follow. Each punch carried the weight of his determination, his love, and his unyielding spirit. Zorath staggered, his dark energy flickering as Krillin's relentless assault began to break through his defenses. The final blow came in the form of a massive energy wave, a technique Krillin had never attempted before. Channeling all of his remaining energy into his palms, he unleashed a torrent of golden light that engulfed Zorath completely. The cosmic entity let out a deafening roar as his form began to disintegrate, his dark energy consumed by the purity of Krillin's attack. The battlefield fell silent as Zorath's body dissolved into nothingness, the oppressive aura that had once dominated the planet dissipating like smoke in the wind. Krillin collapsed to his knees, his body spent, but a triumphant smile on his face. I did it, he whispered, his voice barely audible. Goku rushed to his side, his eyes wide with admiration and relief. Krillin, that was incredible, Goku said, his voice filled with awe. You've become stronger than I ever imagined. Krillin looked up at his lifelong friend, his smile widening. I couldn't have done it without you, Goku. You've always believed in me, even when I didn't believe in myself. The two shared a moment of quiet camaraderie, the bond between them stronger than ever. In the aftermath of the battle, the universe began to heal. The destruction caused by Zorath's rampage was vast, but the planets and civilizations he had threatened were now free to rebuild. Krillin's transformation into a Saiyan had not only saved countless lives but it also shifted the balance of power in the cosmos. His actions inspired a new generation of warriors, both human and Saiyan, to push beyond their limits and fight for what they believed in. The dynamic between Earth and the Saiyan race changed as well, with Krillin serving as a bridge between the two worlds. His decision to embrace his Saiyan heritage had not only saved the day but it also opened the door to a new era of cooperation and understanding. As the dust settled, Krillin stood tall, his golden aura still faintly glowing. He had faced his fears, embraced his destiny, and emerged victorious. The universe would never be the same, and neither would he. But as he looked out at the stars, he knew one thing for certain: no matter what challenges lay ahead, he would face them with the same courage and determination that had brought him this far. And with Goku by his side, there was nothing they couldn't overcome. The legend of Krillin, the Saiyan who was once a human, had only just begun.